There is exactly one number that decides whether you work until you are 70, or whether you walk away decades early and never need a paycheck again. And here is the strange part. Almost nobody ever calculates it. You know your credit score. You know your rent. You probably know how many followers you have. But the single most important number of your entire financial life, the amount of money that makes work optional forever, most people have no idea. Right now there is a formula going viral in Spanish telling people to just multiply their salary by 120, and boom, that is your freedom number. It is simple, it is clean, and it is not quite right. So in the next few minutes I am going to show you the honest math, the real number for your life, and the fastest way to actually reach it. Stick around, because near the end I will show you why you do not even need the full number to walk away. Let us decode it. Let us start with an uncomfortable question. Why did nobody ever teach you this number in school? Think about it. They taught you the parts of a cell, but not the amount of money that would set you free. And that is not really an accident. The entire system runs on you showing up to work, on autopilot, for 40 or 50 years, never once looking up to ask, how much would I actually need to stop? Because the moment you know that number, everything changes. Work becomes a choice instead of a life sentence. You stop trading decades of your life for a paycheck you never questioned. A person who knows their freedom number negotiates harder, saves with a purpose, and quietly builds an exit. A person who does not just runs on the wheel, hoping it works out. So today you are going to get the number nobody handed you. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So let us start with that viral formula, because it is actually a great starting point. The idea spreading across Spanish finance channels right now is this. Take your monthly income, and multiply it by 120. That number, they say, is how much you need invested to live off the returns and never work again. So if you make $2,000 a month, that is 2,000 times 120, which is $240,000. Make 4,000 a month, and the number becomes 480,000. The logic underneath it is real. If you have a big enough pile of money invested, it throws off enough return every year to cover your life, and you live off that return instead of your labor. That is what people mean when they say living off rentes, or reaching financial independence. The concept is beautiful and it is correct. The problem is the exact number, because multiplying by 120 is doing you a quiet little favor that could wreck your retirement. Let me show you the honest version. Here is the honest version, and it is not much harder. Financial researchers spent years studying how much you can safely pull out of an invested pile every year without ever running out. The famous answer is called the 4% rule. It says that in a normal year, you can withdraw about 4% of your invested money, and the rest keeps growing enough to refill it, potentially for the rest of your life. So let us flip that around. If you can safely live on 4% of your pile, then your pile needs to be about 25 times your yearly spending. 25 times. That is the real freedom number. Now watch what that means in monthly terms. 25 times a year is the same as 300 times a month. 300, not 120. So that viral formula is telling people they are free at less than half the money they actually need. And running out of money at 70, after you have already quit, is the one mistake you can never take back. So we are going to use the honest number. And the good news is, you get to make that number smaller in a way most people completely miss. Here is the piece the viral formula gets completely backwards, and it is the most important idea in this entire video. Your freedom number is not built on what you earn. It is built on what you spend. Read that again. The finish line is set by your lifestyle, not your salary. Two people can earn the exact same paycheck. One spends every dollar and needs a giant pile to stay free. The other lives lean, and needs far less. So watch what happens when you cut your spending. Say you trim your life by $500 a month. That is $6,000 a year less that you need. Multiply by 25, and your freedom number just dropped by $150,000. You did not earn a penny more. You just moved the finish line toward yourself. That is why cutting spending is so powerful. It works twice. It frees up money to invest today, and it shrinks the total you ever need to reach. Income moves the finish line one step at a time. Spending moves the whole finish line. So let us actually run your number, right now, in your head. It takes 2 steps. Step 1, figure out what your life really costs in a year. Do not use your income. Use your spending. Add up everything, rent, food, transport, the subscriptions you forgot about, all of it, for 1 month, then multiply it by 12. Say your real life costs $3,000 a month. Times 12, that is $36,000 a year. Step 2, multiply that yearly number by 25. 36,000 times 25 is $900,000. That is your freedom number. That is the invested pile that, on the 4% rule, could pay for your life indefinitely without you working another day. Now, I know. $900,000 sounds impossible from where you are standing today. Your brain just went, well, that is never happening. Hold that thought, because 2 things make that mountain far smaller than it looks, and the first one is almost magic. Let me make this concrete with a few real examples, so you can find yourself on the map. If your life costs $2,000 a month, that is $24,000 a year, and your freedom number is $600,000. If you spend $3,000 a month, $36,000 a year, you need $900,000. Spend $4,000 a month, and the number climbs to $1.2 million. Notice the pattern. Every extra $1,000 a month of lifestyle adds $300,000 to the mountain you have to climb. That fancier apartment does not just cost you more today. It quietly pushes your freedom years further away. And it works in reverse too. The person who learns to live a great life on less does not just save more, they need a dramatically smaller pile to be free forever. This is why 2 people with identical salaries can end up in totally different places. One is chained to the job. The other bought their freedom by keeping their number low. Your lifestyle is literally setting your release date. Here is the first thing that shrinks the mountain, and it is the closest thing money has to magic. It is called compounding, and it means your money starts earning money, and then that money earns money too. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's partner, once said something famous about this. He said the first $100,000 is a wrench, but you have to do it. Get through it however you can. Why was he so blunt? Because the beginning is brutally slow. When you have $1,000 invested, a good year of growth might be $70. It feels pointless. But the pile does not grow in a straight line. It grows on a curve. As it gets bigger, the growth gets bigger, and at some point the returns start doing more of the heavy lifting than your own deposits do. The last part of your freedom number is built far more by time than by you. Which is exactly why the most important move is not earning a huge income. It is starting early, and refusing to stop. So you have a number, and today you have a gap between here and there. There are only 2 levers to close it, and the winners pull both at the same time. Lever 1, widen the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Every extra dollar you invest instead of spend gets multiplied by time. Raise your income through skills, a promotion, or a side income, and send that raise straight into investments instead of a nicer car. Lever 2, and this is the one people forget, lower the number itself. Remember, your freedom number is 25 times your spending. So every permanent cut to your spending does not just free up cash to invest, it also shrinks the target you are aiming at. Attack it from both sides. Earn a little more, need a little less, and the gap that looked like a canyon starts closing from both ends at once. Most people only ever think about earning more. The ones who get free early quietly work the other side of the equation too. Now, a fair question. Where does this pile of money actually live so that it earns that return? Because cash sitting in a normal bank account will not do it. Inflation quietly eats it every year, and it will never throw off enough to set you free. This is not financial advice, just how the math is usually done. For most people building a freedom number, the classic vehicle is a broad, low-cost index fund, something that quietly owns a tiny slice of hundreds of the biggest companies at once. You are not betting on one company. You are betting that the overall economy keeps growing over decades, which historically, it has. It is boring. It is slow. And boring and slow is exactly what compounding needs. The 4% rule was built on a mix of these ordinary investments, not on some secret only the rich can access. The tools are sitting right there, available to almost anyone, which is the part the system never bothers to mention. Now let me warn you about the trap that keeps almost everyone chained to their job forever, no matter how much they earn. It is called lifestyle creep, and it is silent. Here is how it works. You get a raise. You feel great. And within a month or two, your spending quietly rises to match it. A nicer apartment, a better car, fancier everything. Your income went up, but so did your lifestyle, so the gap never grew. And remember what your lifestyle controls. Your freedom number. So every time you let your spending creep up, you are not just saving nothing extra, you are actually pushing your finish line further away. This is the cruel joke of high earners who are still broke. They make 3 times the money and they are just as trapped, because their number keeps running away from them. The people who get free do the opposite. When the raise comes, they keep their lifestyle flat and shovel the difference into investments. They let their income rise while their number stays put. That single habit is the whole game. And here is the promise I made you at the start, because you do not actually need the full number to change your entire life. The full freedom number is the finish line, but the magic starts way before it. Think about what just 1 year of expenses, sitting safely in the bank, does to you. Suddenly you can walk away from a toxic boss. You can say no. You can take the risky job, start the thing, or wait for something better, because you are not 1 paycheck from disaster. People call that having a cushion, or having enough that you can look your boss in the eye without fear. That freedom shows up long before the millionaire number does. Then comes a bigger milestone, sometimes called coasting, where you have invested enough early that even if you never add another dollar, compounding alone will grow it into your full freedom number by the time you are older. At that point you only have to cover today, and your future is already handled. Freedom is not one finish line. It is a staircase, and the very first step changes how you feel on Monday morning. So here is your one move tonight, and it takes about 5 minutes. Grab your phone or a piece of paper and figure out what your life actually costs in a month. Be honest, use your real spending, not a fantasy budget. Multiply that by 12 to get your yearly cost. Then multiply that by 25. That final number, right there, is your freedom number. That is the amount that, once invested, could quietly pay for your entire life. Write it at the top of the page and stare at it. Yes, today it might feel impossibly far away. But here is the difference between you tonight and you this morning. This morning you were running with no finish line, just working and hoping. Now you have a target, a real one, with real math behind it. And every single dollar you invest from here is no longer just spending you skipped. It is a brick in your own freedom. You cannot hit a number you never calculated. So calculate it. So let us bring it home. Most people spend their whole lives running on a wheel with no idea where the finish line even is. Not you, not anymore. Your freedom number is your yearly spending times 25. Not that viral 120, the honest 300 a month, or 25 a year, because running out after you quit is the one mistake you can never undo. It is built on your spending, not your salary, which means you have far more control over it than anyone ever told you. Cut the number, widen the gap, start early, and let compounding carry the rest. And remember, you do not need the whole mountain to breathe easier. The first step, 1 year of expenses in the bank, already sets you partly free. If this gave you a target you did not have this morning, subscribe to Money Decoded USA, where we break down real money, with no hype. Now go run your number. Your finish line is waiting.